Hello everybody. Today is Tuesday, February the 26th, 2013. My name is Michael Wright and this is the Daily Elliott Way video. Just before going forward, please do pause the recording and read over the risk disclaimer. Okay, let's jump right into some fun. Pretty exciting start to the week. Market really started to gain some headwind. Currently, we're up 216 pips for the month thus far, pushing forward on last month's gain of 503 pips. And really, the rule of action kicked things off with the long Kiwi dollar, booked it for plus 44. Right behind it was a long euro for plus 91. And then we also took a short euro pound at 88. We booked that for an average of plus 157 and a quarter. The last one quarter was booked for plus 220. And as of late, we are actually in a Kiwi dollar short. Right, so first we went long, book profits. We got short at higher levels. And then we took the short Kiwi and then the short dollar yen. Alright, so let's look at the setup quickly. Also looked at what worked out. Is always beneficial to look at the setup of what occurred, especially when it plays out, because those are the sort of types of instances you want to duplicate. Okay. So again, the short Kiwi, that was a nice 1 hour trend line support, and that was a plus 44 on that long. The long euro dollar was a taken Kijin crossover. It was an Ichimoku setup, so that played out well, plus 91. The euro pound was a nice daily setup, right? We noticed the trend line of resistance on from the high of just around 94 to price action, and then also aligned with the fib, and there was very deep divergence, so that played out well. Again, that last quarter was booked for plus 220, and then now the short Kiwi dollar, pretty fair setup. I don't want to say easy, but pretty fair setup. Nice breakout and retest, so it wasn't too much to think about. And that right now break even here in that full position. And then dollar yen, similar idea as the Kiwi, broke out and retest. Alright, so not too much thought process. Only way we would have got stopped out if this was a head fake, but these moves are starting to finally hold up, and more importantly, we are starting to see some correlations in the marketplace. And what I mean by correlations is basically risk off across the board, right? We see that the yen and the dollar are moving together, being Aussie yen is falling, Aussie dollar is falling. That wasn't the case for quite some time. Even euro dollar aligning with euro yen, euro courses across the board. So again, we're seeing that correlation base, and that's the most important thing. And one thing I always tell you guys is when the market is showing its hand, you want to take advantage of it, not really over leverage, but more importantly, notice these things. Still keep the risk management in place and just notice these things. Alright, so let's jump right into the markets. I still like the dollar yen to the downside. Again, we booked half a plus 109, so I'm gonna leave it at break even. But it was either that or the Aussie yen, which is also playing the same setup. The pullback and then the break lower. In my opinion, Aussie yen could get down into the 92 range, so obviously that's the reason why we are still holding dollar yen. So looks like a lot of air. At the same time, we could take a look at the yen futures. Yen futures, big bounce off of daily support. 161 fib extension. Let's breakout. That will add further clearance to that. So right now we're close to this at resistance. If we could get a break above 11 flat on the yen futures, we're gonna have a lot more upside in the yen, which means further downside across the board and all these yen pairs. I do want to take a look at the euro yen on a weekly time frame. Alright, we're looking at this for quite some time, so we're finally getting this pullback. Now, interesting to see how this count plays out. If we get it deep enough into the 100 range, again, that's a massive sell-off, but we are looking for this move to play out now. 5-wave swings to the top side, so setbacks on a longer time frame. This could take a couple weeks, but then looking for longs later on back into 140 and possibly 163. Okay, so watching that on a longer time frame. But let's shorten things back, and the Kiwi dollar still playing out well. We finally broke below this ascending trend line support, so this here has a lot of downside in my opinion. ABWXY 1 2, I really wouldn't count this as 1 2 3 4 5, but ABWXY, another complex correction to the downside. However, still could extend those losses. Aussie dollar is still holding well within that weekly triangle, so still no change. Any bounce higher looked as a short. Could possibly be the case that we head somewhere into 104.60. I wouldn't rule out another low to mark even deeper divergence before a larger turnaround, maybe to set the tone for March. Okay, so watch that. We will need a break above 103 to add some clearance to that. So I'm closely watching that for further developments. You could kind of almost see a triangle developing, but a new low will just add further clearance that longs are going to be preferred sooner than later. I just would like to see it below 102.20 before making that move. But then we could have this rally to 104.60 before lower, and that gives us Aussie Kiwi. Aussie Kiwi is something we're going to keep close eyes on. An inverse head and shoulders, which seems to be developing. I'm going to wait for a 4-hour close above support. Hopefully we don't get too far. If we get too far, I'll wait for a retest, and then on target 126. Ideally, the measured move for this is going to be 121.50. Let's make it even number. 123.50, so that gives us 200 pips. On a breakout, we will look for 125.50. Okay, so again, 125.50 also aligns with that bigger terms resistance at the top. So watching, I will call this out when we do trigger, and I like the risk to reward setup. Okay, so also at the same time, pound dollar finally getting some steam. I think we had the Tenki Nikijin crossover on this, so pull back a little bit. Now just waiting for it to get to higher levels. I'm not really too fan of taking that long, but it's very depressed, at least compared to its counterpart. So watching for that, or what can happen is that it consolidates and waits for the other moves to catch up before the rallying risk. Dollar Swiss is also planning out pretty well. I'm not going to take this trade, but we do have a wedge. You know what? We were talking about this in the team room earlier, but here you go. So two scenarios, and either case, I'm going to be patient. Either we break above or we break below. I don't want to really take on the risk because right now it's undecided, so we will just watch. And it's times like this, you know what? Like, you can't really like, we are in a 24-hour market. People, I think when people start to respect that, they'll be more profitable traders. You can't really tell the market when to move, and you can't contain a uncontained market. Right now here in New York, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Been up all throughout the night, have a lot of action, even throughout the U.S. So it's just the rules of the game. So whenever this breaks out, this could break out during the U.S. It could maybe hold until end of the week. Just something you have to revisit and catch it. But right now, undecided, could go either way. But we'll like some confirmation, and another trade we'll be willing to call out once this breaks out. Alright guys, so nice quick video. Hope you all enjoyed it. We'll end the month off profitable, looks like, so that bodes well. Good luck trading, everybody, and I'll be joining you all for the midweek webinar on Wednesday. Cheers.